Gosh. Oh my gosh.
We're live. We're live.
Hello,
5 minutes
hello.
late, but that's okay. That's okay. I set it for 8:35.
Minor technical difficulties. Thanks, Mom, for holding on, for
Yep.
sticking around for the 5 minutes late show.
My blood is boiling. We're gonna go.
You're
We're
good.
gonna go.
All right, let's just roll into it. Kick off the credits, and then
We're
we'll
gonna kick off
introduce
these credits.
ourselves.
I'm gonna wait for this one person to hop in. I know they come in. I'm gonna wait for.
That's fair enough. Thanks for the.
There, look at that. Two people right there. Boom.
There
They're
you go.
in.
Kick it
Let's
off.
go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Excellent start to the show, Dan. Excellent start to the show.
That's the way it goes. Let's kick this off. Love it. Love it. Welcome to the Mid-Geek Crisis. Woo! Another week, another episode 122. I am Joe, the Afro Man.
I am Pedro, Cautious Online. Hello. Also, Mortal Cautious, in case.
Mortal Cautious. Boom.
Mortal Cautious, that's me. I've officially changed my name. Thanks for jumping on, Chance, Dan, Kendo. If you were here before the credits rolled, Dan was the first one burned by a Streamlabs robot. Please refrain from using all caps in the chat. All right, folks, let's be...
What's going on, Rolls, everybody? Hopefully everyone's having a good Tuesday. Hopefully your week from last week, from Wednesday on, was eventful.
It's almost May. It's almost May. I don't even know what is happening. Thanks for jumping on, Rita. It's time's going by.
I bought tickets for a concert today that is in November 21st, and I'm so excited that I just want to skip the rest of the year until we get to that.
Don't fast forward the little bit of time we have.
I'm trying not to, but I haven't had anything to look forward to. There was no packs, no anything. It's the first thing that I've been like, yes.
I look forward to this show every single week, Joe. What?
I know.
Come on.
I know.
Oh, shit. Please do not anger the robot. We don't know what happens on a level 3 bot.
Is it like stars, like GTA? Like when you get like 5 stars, does like the bot
Bikes are gonna drop out of the air.
They're just kicking your door. Oh man.
Jesus, GTA.
Again, welcome to the Mid-Geek Crisis episode 122. Last week we talked about what was happening on that Friday, Mortal Kombat.
The most anticipated film of the month of April. Mortal Kombat.
It made a lot of money at the actual movie theater. Did you see that? It made like...
Did it? I mean, people went out and saw it. I mean, it would have been great in the theaters, actually. Like, the crowd reactions would have been worth it for the film.
So, anyone in the chat that hasn't seen it, I really don't want to...
We're going to spoil it for you.
There's going to be definite spoilers talk this episode. So
that's interesting, Dan. Was it a most anticipated video game based movie remake? Was it a remake? It's not a remake. It's a reboot. Is it a reboot? A refresh. It is a refresh.
Yeah,
Joe had some opinions. I'm gonna lead with mine.
Reimagining. Yeah, I'm okay with that one too.
Can we somehow find a word where we incorporate combat into it, though? Right? That's what we need to do. We need to make it a. Is there a story
it's a new creation with a K.
Is there a sport? I enjoyed the film, but I completely switched off my brain, and was not invested in anything.
Yeah.
Right? I was not invested in the plot, the characters. I honestly was hoping the world would be destroyed at the end of the film because
I was hoping for a tournament.
I did not care at all.
I was hoping for an actual Mortal Kombat tournament.
This movie was called Mortal Kombat, not Mortal Kombat Tournament or Mortal Kombat Annihilation. There were Mortal Kombats.
Look, man.
At least 84 had a
I'm gonna
cluster. Yeah, it had a
preface.
terrible plot, but it had a plot.
Yeah, I'm gonna preface my anger because we were talking about this before the show. Even Pedro was like, "You're angry about this." And
He's
I'm
like,
like,
Joe usually likes every movie where
I
he
do.
finds the kernel of
So
goodness.
here's the thing. I'm gonna preface this by saying I liked the movie.
Mm.
It was an enjoyable movie.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time with it. My expectations.
Was your favorite part when Kano got the laser eye randomly?
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
He found his Arcana, but Arcana spelled with a K, right?
God.
Sorry, everybody. I'm going to drop spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie, you're going to be very mad at me. Send your hate letter to Gmail, Afroman.
I love it. No, man, like, I love the movie. I can't wait for the sequel so I can get my Mortal Kombat movie.
Me too. I was sad when it ended. It's one of the few times I've ever watched a movie and it was sad.
Yeah, it was like, is more MK Sony movies digital only? No. You can actually go to the movie theater and watch it. It's actually at movies. It made, I think, what is it, 29 million opening weekend or whatever. That's
pretty good.
Which is pretty good for a movie where theaters aren't actually, like, I mean, they're not all open. There's not a lot of competition. A lot of people are still being, a lot of theaters have closed. There's been, I mean, I drive down my major highway. There are theaters that have empty parking lots that are just closed up. They didn't make it. They
didn't make it. Yeah.
Like, so the Cinemark closed one or two in the area. That sort of thing. Where why leave that little fringe one open when you have a bigger one down the street? And so
yep.
So that's sad. Again, for those that don't know, my first job was the movie theater. I have a big love for the theater. I used to have tons of posters. I actually know how to splice film together and lay out platters.
What's film?
I know, right? It's interesting. Have you ever seen what the new movies look like? Like what the projectors look like? They're giant, big old tower computer things with a hard drive.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You slide in a hard drive from.
But you can't take the hard drive home, right? It's just something you just plug in, swap out. Yeah, totally.
The early ones though did have a flaw, and they were There was a time period where people were copying the movies right off the hard drive, and that lasted all of one summer. And all the movies. It lasted
all of one summer. Everyone copying all their video.
Yeah.
Then they went back to camcorders
then they encrypted it and they made it all sorts. The hard drives are DRM'd enough that the projectors, you purchase playbacks, so the projector calls home, and basically tells it how many times.
It's like an HP printer with its ink.
Yeah,
that is
weird.
So even movie theaters are just subscribing. They don't actually own the movie.
No. They definitely don't own the movie. Yeah. They purchase the movie rights. And again, there's some background for movies. The way it worked was movie theaters would buy a reel. They would buy the cans.
I think all of our fans on this knows how.
Hopefully they know. They would purchase them. The movie cost the theater a lot of money, and then projectionists would take it up, so they would deliver those movies on Tuesday of the week that they're going to come out, and so it would take them a day or two to set them up. You'd actually set up you'd crack open all the cans, put the movies on big platters about the size of a desk, and then you lay out the movie, and you're splicing all these cans together, with tape. It's literally Scotch tape. You put in a little thing, you and tape it together, and then you roll it out into one big.
That's fun.
Platter. The movie is on loan, but you pay a big fee to have it, and that's why movie tickets are one price, but concession is another, because concession, it makes that money back, because the money for the tickets is enough to pay for the loan of viewing the movie. Right. The concession
pays for the lights and the people and all that good stuff.
Right. And I remember, some projectionists, it's lazy, right? You go to a bad theater, you just turn on flip the things, but they were specific, depending on the film and the size of the film and the audio track that was on it. Projectionists had to do a lot more work. Setting up a DTS track for good audio, it takes extra work. You have to sync up a disc, and you'd be surprised how many times you go to a theater and they never did it. They'd advertise, "Oh, you're going to watch it in DTS." You weren't watching it in DTS.
You weren't watching it in DTS. Never were. The human ear can't hear it anyway, so it's fine.
Right. I mean, you can't see more than 20 frames a second.
Right. Exactly.
That sort of thing. But yeah, so anywho, I love the movies, and I love the Mortal Kombat movie. Was one of the first ones I remember vividly going to see it with my dad.
Mortal
Yeah, I
Kombat.
mean, the 90s techno soundtrack. I mean, who didn't have that soundtrack?
That soundtrack is iconic.
It's
The Mortal
iconic,
Kombat
right?
is iconic. Everybody knows that beat. Everyone can hear it in their head. And then this movie.
This movie was interesting, man. Like so for those that know, I mean, we're all video game players here. Mortal Kombat is at Mortal Kombat 11, right? We've got 11 entries to Mortal Kombat, and interesting choices in this movie, man. Like I liked it. I wanted to like it more. Maybe that's kind of the way I want to put it. Is
yeah. You had high hopes going into it.
Not even because I know that video game movies get kind of like this like stigma, right? It's a video game movie. It's not going to be good, but and I was talking to my wife about this, in the morning after watching it, drinking my coffee. I was like, I don't understand that expectation. Where we, as advocates for video games, we talk about how video games have some of the deepest, richest art. It's one of the deepest, richest art format. Like, no other art format gets this level of, like, detail.
It's like 400,000 words. You connect with the characters. You're playing them. You're using them. You've got 11 games. What movie series has gone 11 movies and have survived, right? Star Wars is close.
Yeah, Rolls, I agree with that. My problem is I also
straight up mindless fun. That's exactly
mindless fun is one thing. Getting someone that might not even care about maybe the lore of a video game or a movie or whatever you're making sounds to me more accurate. This movie was interesting because you have, again, a mythos 11 games long. I mean, even if you go and play the newest Mortal Kombat right now and just want to watch all the cutscenes, it's 4 hours of cutscenes. I mean, you make 2 movies.
Right. Or one Zack Snyder cut. Right, exactly.
In Mortal Kombat. So we've had multiple games with just as long, 3 hours worth of cutscenes, the last Mortal Kombat.
Metal Gear Solid, I think, was an old one.
So there's a lot of lore, a lot of just cutting out gameplay. It's 3+ hours of cutscenes. So when you struggle to make a 90-minute to 2-hour movie and you have to make up new characters,
can we talk about Cole for a second? Everyone
let's talk about Cole.
Spoilers. What a family man, a failed ring fighter. What is that?
This interesting box. It's a lot more interesting than Cole.
I think that's actually part of Cole's fancy armor that appeared on his body.
Right. His cardboard armor. Oh my god.
So he was like a family guy. His only motivation for fighting turned out to be his family, which is kind of boring. It's cliched. The most disappointing part was him. I liked Sonya. I don't know why she wasn't the focus of the story. She had a real motivation.
It took me about an hour into the movie to realize that
I was who the fuck is this?
You're right.
The weird thing, Rio, is that I said the same thing at the end of the movie, right? Like I still didn't know who he was or cared.
Who was Cole? Wait, that was his wife and his kid. The young lady at the beginning helping him put his bands and whatnot.
I thought that was her. She was
young sister. I thought it was. I didn't know.
Might have been his 2 sisters, but it seemed like there was a dad moment or two, right, with the friendship bracelet and stuff and the. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen that same.
Even if it was his sister, there was some real dad vibes, right?
Yeah,
there was a real family.
I mean, I've got a younger sister, and
he should have had Chun-Li.
Yeah, he should have.
It would have made more sense.
Dad, bravo, sir. Bravo. Good callback, sir.
Sonya basically became a write-off character. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, she.
Thanks for jumping on, GLF.
Hey, what's going on, Carlos? Yeah, no. Look, this movie was interesting. They made interesting choices with certain characters. Again, spoilers. There's no Johnny Cage in this movie. I mean, and another comedian said...
An iconic character for the Mortal Kombat series.
So you've got Scorpion?
It's like Street Fighter with no Ryu.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So Scorpion and Sub-Zero would be like the Ryu and Ken, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like the fighters and ninjas, whatever. And then Raiden, which is kind of like the center pillar point, or like the elder god or whatever, the god of the... And then you've got Liu Kang, which is going to be your protagonist. Your stereotype, your Bruce Lee character, and then your American characters, which are usually like the Guile or whatever, would have been Sonya and Johnny Cage, and then after that, if you want to have a couple villains, Kano, right? So like the base core 8 characters.
We're talking about Mortal Kombat. Yep. The movie.
You completely removed one of the major characters, but you added. Why didn't they make Cole
Johnny Cage?
Johnny Cage. I don't understand.
Someone showed up with the plot about a failed. What is it?
MMA fighter? What is
a
he?
mixed martial arts fighter.
Mixed martial arts fighter. He Muay Thai, I guess. I don't know what his style was. I don't know. I know that he gets his ass kicked the first 5 minutes of the movie. Like,
just to warn folks, our caps machine is strong tonight. That's 3 hits. Yes, we agree.
Don't worry about it, Carlos. It's almost a joke at this point. Just caps it out. It won't kick you out.
Yeah, we'll kick you out. Rio, people are talking about Cole becoming Johnny Cage. Wasn't there a poster at the end?
No. Yeah, like there's a poster. He exists, and he's already a character. So, like, I don't. It's just some interesting choices. So you spend this whole movie trying to figure out who this character is that you don't care about. And then another thing that was interesting to me is like,
and the reveal was so boring.
So boring. So here's the thing, right? So we have a level of disbelief that we have to believe in.
Sad we didn't see Johnny Cage. Yeah, Johnny Cage.
Sub-Zero here. We've got Sub-Zero, who at the very beginning of the movie can do ice. We have Johnny Cage at home. That's right.
Well done, Dan. Well done.
You have at the very beginning of the movie, you have the disbelief. You know, you're already transported to a fantasy world where someone can actually have ice in his hand, right?
Yep.
And you also have a god with thunder and lightning. But somehow or another, we have to believe that the only way that you can have powers by throwing a fireball or whatever is to unlock an arcana.
Right, you got a birthmark.
Well, it's not even a birthmark, right? So apparently you can take the birthmark. So
Highlander style. If you defeat them, you get their power.
Right. So that's the thing, right? So apparently, at somehow or another, these marks appear on your body. Either you're born with it, or when you die, the person that kills you takes it, or if you die of natural causes, I guess it recycles.
It's gone forever. That's how he's rigging the tournament, right? Isn't that how he's rigging the tournament?
I guess so. It's but at the same time,
or if you kill with the person with a tattoo, I assume, or a arcana.
Right. So
what if two people with arcanas kill each other? That's
right. So you're whittling that. It makes no sense. So now this next movie, they're going to go look for new fighters. But did they not find more people with, like
I'll be honest. It seemed to me like Raiden did a half-hearted attempt to find him. Right, he was like, we've got 3 guys. I can teleport all around the world. These are fine.
These are fine.
I'll put up a big shield.
Who was a better Raiden? This guy or Christopher Lambert?
I mean, Christopher Lambert, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Highlander
Christopher Lambert came to chew on the scenery, right? Like everyone in that movie was like, "We know what we're in. We're making a '90s movie with techno music, and we are going to
so good." So good. It holds up, man. It holds up. It really
does.
Can
we please talk about what they did with Jax's arms?
No. Oh, yeah, we will. We'll get to Jack's arms. It had nothing to do with the OG Mortal Kombat, but at the same time, it is based off Mortal Kombat, and so
it had nothing on it. I think the OG Mortal Kombat he's saying is better.
Oh yeah, no, totally. So let's talk about Jax. Here's a and I want to preface this again. I think all the actors were phenomenal in this movie. They all played a phenomenal role with the part that they were given. Nikan Brooks, who's 40 years old, he's my age, put on 25 pounds of muscle to play this role. If you're not familiar with who he is, Nikan Brooks, he played Jimmy Olsen in season 1 of Supergirl.
Oh wow!
He's like the kind of thin, scrawny dude in that show. He put on 25 pounds of pure muscle. Like
I think qualified it as muscle because I'm like, I put on 25 pounds in the last 10 months. That was easy.
He bulked up. Yeah, I put on 25 pounds. Yeah, for sure.
I didn't even work at it.
I mean, he just did a great job. He's a great guy on Instagram. I follow him. He's just a real nice guy. He interacts with his fans. He was very excited for the role. I think he played a great Jax. Interesting choice to give him the Steve Harvey mustache. Just interesting role.
I think he had the best fatality, though. I really enjoyed his fatality. He had the best one.
So let's talk about his Arcana for a second. So again, Arcana, you can only get these powers if this tattoo appears on you. So he's got a tattoo that he got from someone he killed on one of his 6 tours, and he then goes and fights Sub-Zero, and obviously he's a good fighter. He still gets his ass kicked, and his arms explode, right? So then... they freeze him and explode. Spoilers. First 10 minutes of the movie, he loses his arms, and then he's in bed rest for 3/4 of the movie. Then he comes back and they built him new hands, new arms, and they're these like baby arms
with
right?
monk magic, by the way. There's
With
no
monk
explanation on the
so if you paid attention, it just that's like we have looked through all the dimensions and using all sorts of dimensional magic to try to repair him.
Couldn't find anybody else with a tattoo.
Couldn't find anyone else. Couldn't find more metal. You just used like very dinky toothpicks for arms, and somehow or another, his Arcana gives him arms. So I guess my confusion is if he hadn't have lost his arms, would he have had a different Arcana?
No, the Arcana upgrades you. It upgrades you. So like he had like level 1 arms, and then he leveled up to like level 10 arms. And that's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like your brain, the movie doesn't break, but you break if you try to think too hard about it, right? That's the great thing about this film. If you think too hard about it, the whole thing falls apart. That's Jax. Yes, that's Jax.
That was Jax, man.
That's Jax.
That was Jax. He was the original. Yeah, I don't. This movie, interesting choice. Why did you have to make their powers an actual power? Like, it was almost like they wanted to make a superhero movie.
Well, they had to explain it. This is the mitochondrion. This is what this is his legacy. You have to explain these things.
Stop it! We're already watching a Mortal Kombat movie. We're just going to accept the fact that you are a martial artist.
That's exactly what happened, Rolls. You're right. Every time I'm like, but wait a minute, that doesn't make any fancy fights.
All right. So next rant, real quick. Let's talk these fight scenes for a second. This movie was I don't even know how long it was because I was just in shock.
I think it was 79 minutes. It was one of the tightest blockbusters.
Edited movie. But you had 3/4 of this movie was trying to explain Cole's presence in this universe and why he can't freaking get it up. I mean, I'm sorry, not get it up. Get his Arcana up. Whatever, and
then it turns out his power is just taking a beating. That's all.
That's his power. His power is taking a beating. But so
this is why
3/4 of this movie happens. Then they realize, oh shit, we got to make a fight movie. So then they throw all of the fights in at the very end. That is the one thing that was just egregious. Like watching the original Mortal Kombat movie, as cheesy as it is, you jumped right to the plot. Hey, there's a tournament. We're getting on a boat. Oh, look, it's Enter the fucking Dragon. Like, that's the plot of this movie. Like, that's the plot of the goddamn video game. Mortal Kombat is just like Tobias and what's his name? Dan Tobias and all them just sitting there going, let's make a fighting game with Enter the Dragon style. And so they added Bruce Lee, but they're like, we need to make up these new characters, and so they made up Raiden, and I like the guy
and from Blood and Death.
I like the guy from Big Trouble in Little China. Let's add him, and
it's Mortal Kombat, not Mortal Kombat.
just God. So then again, they added these fights all at the end, but the original movie had these very structured fights.
It was like Bloodsport, but the '90s had a lot of movies with that exact genre, right? Now we've got these comic book movies that they have to do this weird convoluted plot line, right? You can't just have a tournament. You have to be we have to divide and conquer them, and and you're going to teleport us into each of these. Why did he teleport them to fight areas? Why didn't he teleport? It wanted to be that they fought on these iconic places. So, yeah, and then what the fuck was that lizard thing? Isn't that
Reptile? That was Reptile.
Oh, that was
Reptile.
Reptile, that's right.
Now remember, in Mortal Kombat 1, the original movie, the original Mortal Kombat movie, Reptile is a giant. He's also a transparent being, right? And remember, he gets punched or kicked into this statue, and the statue eats him. Mm-hmm. He gets pulled into the statue, and then his body gets taken, and then he takes over the statue, and he's then a ninja. He's got the same look as Scorpion and Sub-Zero. He's got the mask and everything.
Oh, yeah!
So remember, but he's also a CG kind of monster until he's not. Until they Liu Kang punches him into that thing, that goo into the monster thing, and then he takes. That was
I didn't make that connection at all.
But that was Reptile. That was Reptile.
That was literally just a throwaway. They were like, "Here you go, Kano. Go ahead."
He's such a fun character. So, but you also Baraka and Reptile are two races of Outworld. So, there can be another Reptile.
Strap on your war helmet, folks, because we've got a nerd here.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, it's great.
What is it? So Melina is a mix of the Baraka.
That's the one with the mouth
with the teeth and
got bladed.
Their race are called Tartakans or whatever. That they're an Outworld like
Does
slave
every race have a K in it? Is that the joke?
Of course. Anywho, yes, I know the mythos enough, so I'm sorry. I know it.
That's
what I'm saying. Like I couldn't
even
turn it off.
bearing Lord of the Rings on us here.
Yes, I couldn't. So that's my problem. I couldn't turn it off in my brain. I knew.
Was it dope watching Hanzo kill all those ninjas at the beginning? Was the fight with Sub-Zero amazing?
So, yeah,
Scorpion,
thank you for bringing that up. What a fucking moment that was. Here's 7 minutes of the movie, and you're like, this is a fucking wild ride.
This is gonna be a dope ass movie.
Dude,
what is and then
that must have been like one writer writing it on a napkin, writing on a napkin at a coffee shop, going, "Oh, we're gonna have the ninja scene, whatnot. Let's pitch this movie." They pitched it, and they're like, "That's awesome."
And then a bunch of executives are like, and you know what we want? We want like a dad. We gotta really get the family demographic in here and really get the feels.
And the writers are like, but I just want Scorpion. I want a Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Yeah, no. Kids don't want Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They want Cole Young.
Kids are watching this movie. Kids are not. I hope you don't let your kids watch this movie.
I don't understand. You had such a great foundational 7 minutes for this movie that really drew you in. I was like, yes, look at that freaking ancient Japan.
That's what they do with all video game movies, Joe. They think they can take the video game pieces and make a better thing, and they don't realize that you actually need to know. I mean, look at Assassin's. Look at them all.
Yeah, no. That's a great example. Assassin's Creed. There's no reason that movie should have been as bad as it was. You literally had a foundation for a movie. That game is a movie. Oh, yeah. We're gonna go deep into the bloodline of a person to find an assassin.
Don't worry about it. We'll explain how it works, or we won't. Just enjoy the ride, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
no,
terrible, brutally terrible.
So again, it is a good movie.
Watch it. It's a lot of fun.
If you're willing to just turn off your brain and not remember that there has been other Mortal Kombat stuff made, but when you really
or a little out for Johnny Cage.
Yeah, when you take in effect all of its history, the games, the other movies, hell, even the stupid '90s cartoon. I mean, like, I feel like that was what was watched. They watched the '90s cartoon and were like, "Let's make a movie."
Rio.
I don't know if it was decent.
Did you watch it, or did you just watch the trailer?
I mean, Michael Fassbender saves that movie.
Where on the spectrum is Assassin's Creed decent? Right? That what are the end posts for that particular?
I mean, is it like House of the Dead? Because that's a terrible movie.
House of the Dead is the bad one.
That's the bad side for sure.
I couldn't get past all the CGI smokes.
Oh god!
You go see, not decent.
Yeah. So. Also, I have a prediction. By the way, I don't know if this was it. Here's a prediction. I don't know if this is something. Sub-Zero. So in the mythos, the original Sub-Zero, the Sub-Zero in the first game, is a villain, just like this, and then the next Sub-Zero for Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 2 and onward is his brother, who's trying to figure out what happened to him. He's not a villain, and you come to find like the feud. You find out that there was manipulation going on. That felt like a good plot point. Like there's manipulation going on in those two like ninja clans.
I don't need all that.
I know. But I'm just saying
we've established that you can escape hell just based on how much you want revenge, right?
Yeah.
Like that's.
I mean, well, remember it's called hell, but it's the Nether Realm.
Right. It's
remember
another realm.
It is the Nether
Bring them back. Let's just start the movie with all the characters that died at the end of the first one ready to fight in the tournament. Let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah, we all watched that movie. I watched it for Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, God, look at this.
And then I wrote him a letter being like, "I'm so disappointed in you.
I'm disappointed in what you've done. You're so disappointed."
Why didn't you
go watch Mortal Kombat? Make sure you watch it if you're brave enough to go see it at the theater. It's definitely a fun theater movie for sure. I put it on Friday night. I sat down on the couch.
After a D&D game, you're a beast.
Yeah. Friday night we played D&D. I went and brewed a couple a thing of coffee, and I sat down and watched Mortal Kombat, and I was just like, why, man? Like, just I don't understand why.
I'm only laughing because those are the most delicious tears. When Joe is sad at a film, I'm like, wow, Joe's sad at a film.
Also. Not one single friendship happened in the movie. Not a single friendship happened in the movie. What is going on?
What is happening?
They were able to throw lines, flawless victory.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kung Lao, you can't say flawless victory if you got punched. I'm just saying, like, you can't just throw out jargon. It's like the writers were like, we're just gonna throw out jargon from.
They had like 5 keywords they had to fit, and they just threw them in there, right? They just had to throw them in at some point.
Fatality, yes, that is a fatality.
Yeah, the what is it? What's his name? The guy with the hat?
Kung Lao.
Kung Lao, and the other guy, the guy with the fire?
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. Those guys should have had a friendship, right?
Well,
I feel like they had like a real bro thing going.
Well, they're related. Like, that was the one thing that we're like, yes, he's like my cousin. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you for establishing that. By the way, yes, he is your cousin. But not necessarily. Kung Lao is technically from the past.
All right, we're done.
Yeah. I mean, it was the biggest gaming news we could talk about.
Sorry, Chance. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, it is definitely the biggest mortal.
We're done.
We're done with it.
Throw up the friendships. Sure. We'll bookend it with the friendship. Friendship for everybody. We are done talking about.
Friendship, everybody. Go watch it. It is definitely 8 out of 10. MK.
7 out of 5. 7 out of 5 would watch again. Recommend to everyone. And then Space Jam will be next. How about the new Captain America?
Oh,
I love to avoid spoilers and was like, damn. All right, we're done. We're done.
Chance, go for it. We're not going to talk. You're right. Let's talk about Captain America. Who brought that up? That was great.
Is that Winter Soldier? Would that be a different spoiler?
No, I mean, like, how do we talk about spoilers nowadays when everything is given to us at home? Like, it's hard not to watch it. I mean, I get it.
It just finished, right? This weekend was the last episode, or was the last week?
Yeah. This Friday was the last episode, and it was...
We're talking Winter Soldier now. I haven't seen a single episode. I'll probably get around to it. I've been enjoying other things.
Yeah, so that was one of those shows where I decided...
All right, we're clear. All clear.
I waited 5 episodes. I waited 5 episodes before I jumped in. Like, and then I watched all 5.
And then you binged them.
Like,
nice.
And then I was like, I'm in.
Nice. Y'all need to watch The Boys. I think, Joe, you've seen The Boys, right?
I've seen half of The Boys. I haven't watched the rest of it. I like The Boys. I'm the reason The Boys kind of always gets to me is again it's back to the whole, like, I feel no one feels that Superman can be written unless he's written as a villain.
Yeah. His boyhood hero, he hates him.
Well, everyone does, right? Like, everyone likes that. That's their, like, that's the pull. That's the one easy card that everyone.
Is that like Garth Ennis? Who wrote that? Is that based on a comic book?
Yeah. It's based
Garth Ennis, right? Garth Ennis is like the one comic book writer that hates comic book heroes, right? So he's always writing about how this sucks. Yeah. Homelander isn't Superman.
I know Homelander isn't Superman. I know he isn't. But what I'm saying is it's always very easy to write the character that is like the
But you didn't mind it in Invincible.
Well, right. But the only reason I don't mind Invincible is because
that's Kirkman.
Yeah, look at this troll. It's
Boy Scout
Chance knows he's not too, which is I know what he's doing there. At least Evil Superman has some morals. Yeah. I mean, there's no. I'm saying it's an easy pull, right? When you write the character that is the omnipotent godlike character as the villain, it's because, you know, the reason that they're doing that is because they think, like, well, he's such a overpowered character that the only way that we can write anything interesting about him is if we make him the villain, so that everyone has to fight him, right?
It's lazy.
It is a little lazy, but lazy. I'm not saying The Boys is lazy. I'm just saying in general, like, when you have a character that omnipotent being the villain, it's hard. Invincible's a little different only because his son is also kind of the Superman.
Right. That's true. That's
fair. It's kind of playing that whole, like, hey, what if evil Superman had a son and tried to make him evil, only to realize that his son is as good as it comes, and then kind of goes against your.
It's basically a dangerous adult baby. So I have not seen The Boys, and this is my own. I don't. Someone described a few scenes to me, and they sounded really gory and horrifying, and I was not ready to watch it after Game of Thrones. And it turns out I'm still not ready to watch it after watching another show, which I will not divulge, that Joe recommended, that I had to write him and be like, yo, that was a brutal episode, and I don't think I'm going to watch the show anymore. So some shows just, I can't do that gory stuff like I used to be able to. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm like weak.
You don't think it's easy to write Superman?
Don't do this, Chance. Don't do this. Why would you do this?
I'm not going to go into the rant. I'm just going to say, like, yeah, it's easy to write Superman. when you don't understand Superman. Like it seems to be like everyone likes to write Superman in a very one dimensional. I mean, like Frank Miller writes Superman very one dimensional. Like I'm a Boy Scout.
Hot take: Frank Miller is a one-dimensional writer.
Right. Well, yes, that too. But Frank Miller in general tends to write Superman as that the government stooge. When you write Superman as a human, someone that has more humanity and wants to be human and raised by humans and has to juggle the power and his humanity and the holding back, because at any moment he could technically just go fuck this and just brutally destroy everything he wants. It's a very it's one or the other. So yes, and I know what you're doing. You're pushing super fans' buttons. It is because again, he's definitely not the popular character, anymore. He's not Batman, right? Batman he grew up in the '90s, and Batman became Edgelord God, and everyone loves Batman. But Superman.
Everyone loves edgelords. Come on, it's the Hail Hydra spirit out there.
Right.
I want to be part of the Empire nonsense. I'm a Dark Jedi bullshit. That's I don't know what it is, but.
Right,
a lot of folks are broken.
The good guy is he's too good. There has to be some in between, some gray space.
Imagine you're out on the playground in 1982 or 1983 or 85, which is probably when I was on the playgrounds, and someone was like, "I want to play as Megatron," right? Imagine, or someone was like, "I want to be Darth Vader." Wouldn't that be weird? That would have been weird.
That would have been weird for us growing up. Nowadays, it's pretty. Now everyone's like, "I want to be Joker," right? Well, we talked about this.
Everyone wants to be Joker. Why?
Everyone wants to be Joker, and I'm like, man, that's so weird. I would have never wanted to be the Joker. I wanted to be Batman, or
I wanted to be He-Man. I didn't want to be Skeletor.
Yeah, no one wanted to be Skeletor. Even
at worst, Man at Arms, because he had a sweet mustache, right? Come on. I love when he's more human. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's why I've talked about if you get a chance, if anyone is interested to see kind of a very human Superman story, go watch the new CW show, Superman, Lois and Superman.
I've seen the human Superman story. It's Superman Returns, and he gets shanked.
Ah, God, you need to do it. And Dan brought it up earlier.
I don't need another one. He gets shanked, and that's great.
That's such a bad movie. Fuck's sake. God damn.
It's great. Speaking of supervillains. We like to bash corporations here every so often, right? So perhaps we should talk about this one. You ready for this?
All right. So if you saw the name of the show, you probably the name of the show was "This Is Now an NFT." I only named it that because we talked about this in our private chat here.
So
go for it.
I don't know what NFTs are, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. Right?
I try to do a deep dive.
But if I'm reading this correctly, I can buy and own the image of the Black Lotus digitally. Is that how this works? I don't really, or the fungible credit for it.
Look, you and I talked about this before the show. We said it before, said it again. This is millennials and Zen. What are we? Gen X? No, what are they? What's the new term? Anywho, Gen Z or whatever the term is.
Mm-hmm.
That's them going, F the man. We're making up our own money. We're just making up money. We're just gonna make it up. It's gonna be digital, and because you old folk can't understand it, and you guys won't give us actual money, we're just gonna make up money and make it worth your actual money.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
And you're gonna buy it. Dogecoin is an NFT, I guess, right? It is.
Yeah, non-fungible token. I mean, I know what it stands for, Rio.
How is it associated with Hasbro art? Because they were talking about Transformers and
so what they do is you take an image and then you get it certified as an NFT. There's a whole process you go through, and then once it's there, that digital image has a specific it's got a footprint, and it's worth that much. So you then take that image and it belongs to you. Yes, other people can copy, but you have the original. The digital original.
That's the digital original.
Yeah.
And can I sell that digital original to be used?
Yeah.
Can I lease it out? Can I rent out the
yeah. NFTs are...
It's a blockchain. It's a blockchain. Stocks are technically worthless, right? Unless they're GameStop, right? Unless they're GameStonks. Diamond hands.
Turnips are technically worth nothing, but you know what? I enjoy playing them. My point is we've gotten to a point where the economy's so messed up for people trying to make it that the troll aspect is the techs, the gurus, the people like us, the younger generation, and even younger than me, were like, F this, like we're done with this, and we're gonna make up stuff. And so these blockchains were created, and you've got
See, then this is just like this is just a scam, and eventually people with NFTs are going to be left holding the bag. Is that what's going to happen?
It's maybe, or in general, just all cryptocurrency is only just like real money. Money is only worth what you believe it is. Right? A dollar. What is it? My economics teacher was like, that dollar in your pocket isn't worth $1. It's only worth $1 because you think it's worth $1, right? Like it's all in the mind.
No, well, not because I think it's worth $1, because the other person taking it worth
$1, right? But there's an idea that it's only worth something because we associate a value for it, right?
Right.
So that's no different than Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or whatever the heck it is. Like at this point,
well, but unlike the dollar, Bitcoins are actually produced and limited in quantity, right? So as a supply,
it's harder to mine the block.
As it's harder to make one.
Yeah.
They do go up in value. There is a distinct value to that. Well, NFTs don't appear to have that limitation, or am I wrong on that? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Rolls, I was with you, right, on this. At least stocks are backed by companies with real assets. NFTs are just. I was with you, except for the GameStop thing, right? When you start looking into the way people make money on stocks with shorts and puts and all the ways that they created a big old gambling casino,
right?
It doesn't quite connect, right? There's no connection between the way the company's performing and what their stocks are valued at, right? GameStop could go under tomorrow.
What was the news?
They just sold $551 million in stock.
The CEO of GameStop is stepping down, and he's making $175 million when he steps down.
I'd step down too.
I mean, like what a world,
he's
right?
He's probably kicking himself for not doing it in January.
You become so rich and powerful in your position that failing upwards is more beneficial. Like, would he have made more money if GameStop had performed well?
Right, but their stocks perform well, so that's all that matters, right? That's where a big part.
They did, so that's why I guess he walks away with 175 million.
People thought they were. So, Rio, I'm with you. As short stocks is gambling. The trick, and if you learn about this, is that it's not gambling at all for the people who short stocks, right? They work the system so well that they drive down the price of these companies in order to make money. So they rig it. They rig the house very often on that gambling.
Well, when they control the house,
gambling for us, if we try to dig into it.
Right.
You think we'd be good at this because we're gamers, right? Sometimes I play these games and I'm like, I'm really good at this.
We could be, and that's what happened, right? Isn't that what happened?
Like, I think so. I think a bunch of Redditors, Diamond Hands, baby,
rich, busted out and was like, "Yo."
They crushed the numbers.
Dog, yo, I know how to do freaking wall hacks on COD. Why can't we freaking wall hack stock market? And that's what they did.
That's why it's trash.
They went on there. They got it trending on Twitter. They said, "Hey, go and invest in this." Everyone bought it, drove the stock prices up, made a ton of money. Then everyone just messed with all the hedge fund people, and then.
So at the beginning of the year, it was 20 something, and right now it's at like 170. So like it has gained value,
right?
Despite the fact that they're closing stores and no one goes, yeah, that's it. Where is it? Where is it, Joe? Where is it?
There it is. Oh yeah. I mean,
for who? For who is it rigged, right, Brian? Yeah, it's literally killing us. Literally killing us.
That's like a key word. Anytime someone's capitalism, it's like those. I'm not someone who supports this stuff. I mean, whether it's you support.
I mean,
you
do if you got a 401k or a pension or any sort of investment.
You kind of have to. Like, I don't care about
pay your taxes because those are put into pensions.
I didn't care about stocks until I hit 35. And then at 35, I was like, "Oh crap! Wait, my jobs are giving me stocks." Actually, about 32. And so I was at Apple. When I was working at Apple, I was like, "Oh crap! They're giving me these vested funds, and what's going on?"
What are these stocks? Isn't that where they put the Village Idiot? What am I supposed to do with
RSUs? What the fuck's an RSU? I remember when we got our email and they gave us a crap ton of RSUs, and I'm like, "What is this?" To the Googles, and I was like, so if I stay at this job and invest and then whatever, what?
Can I sell this now and get cocaine?
Yeah, can I go buy video games with this?
Can I go buy video games? Someone's selling a projector down the street, and I must have it.
I'll sell a stock. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I didn't care. But then you realize, you're like, yo, man, like, there's the only way to own a piece of the pie is to play the game. And when you refuse to accept the game, then you're kind of not even on the board. Like, right? Like, you're just...
GameStop is only still open because of pre-orders. Also, I think it's like a gamer hot topic, right? You can also buy like T-shirts and toys, and I saw Dune figures. There were Warhammer 40K figures for sale there for a little while. There's a lot of weird stuff at GameStop.
Yeah,
like
GameStop is
like the front yard of gaming.
I'll be honest with you. We lost Toys R Us, right? We lost Toys R Us. GameStop can fill a void for the gaming market. It really can. I mean, having a place to physically go and buy gaming peripherals, gaming paraphernalia.
It's always garbage. The boxes are always busted. Everything's been touched a million times. It's never good. Yeah, so yeah, Think Geek is still with GameStop. So I don't know. Every time I go into a GameStop, I'm always like, this place looks like a 1980s rental store in the Bronx.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
GameStop doesn't know what GameStop does anymore, right? Like every few months, there's always a new CEO or someone that goes in there and goes, "We're going to change up the stores." So like,
what they do now is sell stocks.
Now right before this new gen came out, they were like, well, what do we do? How do we stay relevant? Especially with these games going digital. I mean, all these consoles are going to a digital edition and that sort of thing. How do we sell? So they decided to. What they did is instead of going, hey, wait, people might still have old consoles. Right before the new consoles launched, they took off. So you can't buy PS3 games, 360 games, all the old consoles. They were like,
you're always mad at this.
Well, I might mad at it, but I mean, it's like if people aren't careful with that PS Pro back there.
There's a what? Yeah, I had to turn it off. It just started up. Did you hear the engine turn on? My PlayStation 5.
That's that PS5 Pro back there. He's got that dev unit back there.
That dope one.
It's freaking
can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, it just seems weird to me that they have no idea what they're doing. They take games off, like, hey, we want to sell games, and we make more money off used games, so let's take all the used games off the shelves and put Razer keyboards up.
People stopped buying used games. I did. I stopped buying used games.
You did, but that didn't mean everyone else did.
I'm the core demographic, Joe, not you.
You're not, man. Every time I walk in there's like a mom or a dad trying to buy a couple games for their kid, and they're like, y'all have this, and they're like, no, but we can order it for you. And I'm like, no, I can order it off Amazon. Like that dad is still
old phones. You can still buy all those, but it's much smaller selection. Yep, all the pre-order.
Right. And when I say that they take off the shelves, I mean they really did. They did. They left a little bitty floating like end cap right in the middle of their store, but they took all the edges, like all the walls, and they have a giant section for like PC gaming peripherals, which they don't have in stock. They literally tell you can buy this and then you can ship it to store, and I'm like, I could just buy it on my phone on Amazon and get it shipped home. Like, what's the
to my house? Why am I here?
Why am I here? Like, it makes no sense.
So you can get advice from the gamer dude who's way too busy to help you.
But then he's trying to sell you their warranty. Like, I don't understand. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
Don't buy anything at GameStop. Just buy their stock. That's the
GameFly from used games. I get GameFly. Go buying them online, getting used games. They have sales all the time.
Or just get Xbox Pass because it gets better and better.
It gets better and better. Yeah. Speaking of PS5, Xbox, what's going on here? We had a new update. They pushed out their new FPS boost. This is just getting more and more interesting. This new generation. I mean, we talked about it very early on when this started off. Sony's playing things by the old rule book, right? They're following the 2005 rule book on how to launch a console. Jim Ryan was like, hey, what's new is new, what's old is dead, and we don't care about it. Backwards compatibility, no one wants that. And Xbox is like, we just want to play games. And so, talking to a few friends of mine, they've all been kind of, it's interesting how some of these old games are back on the top sales charts or getting new play because, what is this? These old games that didn't run very well now run way better on these new systems.
Super crisp. Load times are, they're just so fast. You don't
it makes games that you didn't want to play before, and now you're like
so
running through them.
It's so good.
So much better. So that's an interesting way to start this generation where we kind of jumped into a pandemic. Developers didn't have games ready. The big game for Xbox didn't launch. So I mean, on the back of the box there was Master Chief on the back of the box. Yet we got no Master Chief.
Do we even have a date on that? What
It's
folks have stopped talking about
November of this year. So they pushed
November
it a whole
of
year.
this year. God,
Yeah, they pushed it a whole year. So it was a whole year.
Jesus! Oh, before you know it, it'll be November, right?
Yeah. Before you know, it'll be November, of course, and that's the thing, right? So there's no major. I mean, I'm sure there'll be more games launching in the middle of the year, but not big exclusive, not big AAA titles for the Xbox. And people are playing these old games, and they're realizing, was it all the old Battlefields? A bunch of these new games got 120 frames per second updates, 120 hertz updates. That's amazing. Like if you've got the display to play it, these games feel like brand new games. Which is awesome.
It's pretty awesome. November of this year, there might be 7 copies out there by February. True.
Yep.
Things sell out really fast nowadays.
I mean, by November,
resellers are a plague on the industry, I think.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Just ruined every hobby you can at all get into now. Resellers.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit right now. Right now, if you haven't been paying attention to the tech news and gaming news in general, everything is kind of. I've never felt being part of a hobby where it's affected by the rest of the actual world right now. Like the pandemic really did affect everything, and it doesn't matter what hobby you're part of, it's affected everything in a very different way. So the chip shortage right now is going on.
And scalpers, I was kind of called them resellers, but yeah, they're scalpers.
So TSMC, one of the big chip manufacturers, big global chip manufacturing company, factory actually, they manufacture a lot of the chips for AMD and a lot of the smaller companies. Intel actually makes their own. They have their own factories. But TSMC makes chips for tons of other chip manufacturers. And they can't keep up with the demand. With the pandemic, with people using more computers, with shortage of silicon, which is sand, with shutting down and restarting factories back up, you've got the automotive industry needing more chips than ever because all of these cars are now electric. They've got, I think, one brand new car contains like 57 different chips that need to be manufactured by TSMC, and they can't keep them in stock. So you've got big companies like GM, Chrysler, Toyota, Honda needing those chips, and they've got more money than other companies. So
they bump people off the line.
So smaller companies like AMD, which you might think is a big company, but when it comes down to the grand scheme of things, it is not. They can't keep them on the on the manufacturing.
I told you my manufacturing story related to Pepsi cans, right? 10,000 when I used to work for Pepsi. So this is just related to them being bumped off the line. So July 4th weekend is coming up, and we wanted to launch a fast promo to get some fancy can out there in the market, right? So we called our can suppliers and we said, hey, we want to do a July 4th promo, and we're Pepsi, so you're going to give us some line time, right? So the can companies were like, yep, we got it. We'll bump a few of the smaller companies off. You're Pepsi, you got it. About a week before July 4th, we get a call saying, oh, yeah, we have to give the line time to someone else, so we're not going to be able to meet your order until after July 4th. Guess who bumped us off? Guess who bumped Pepsi off? No. Bud fucking Weiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, there's always a bigger dog out there, so like, if you can't compete with Budweiser.
Anheuser-Busch, man, they're a way bigger company. When you think about the grand scheme of things, Pepsi versus Anheuser-Busch,
it's small potatoes versus big potatoes there, right? So like, Bush just bumped us off the line, and Pepsi had to scramble for cans from someone else. So this is what these chip manufacturers are doing now.
That's exactly what's happening.
Where they're bumping the smaller folks off, and it just sort of chains all the way up until the big folks are just fighting.
Right. So again, I'm trying to give the grand scheme of things. TSMC can't keep up with demand. People being bumped off the lines. Other companies come priority. AMD, Nvidia want to make these graphic chips. AMD makes the graphics chips for both of the new consoles. I mean, without AMD making chips, you can't buy an Xbox, you can't buy a PS5, you can't buy a CPU for your new computer, you can't buy an AMD graphics card, you can't buy an Nvidia graphics card. All of those, when they are made, the short supply that do come in, are being sold online. These online systems are being completely demolished by scalpers because of the amount of
bots.
stock.
Yeah.
So the bots come in and buy them, and then the resale market sells them. So you've got products that are being marked up 700-800% from their retail value. I mean, a PS5 right now, I think, while it's $500 brand new, I think the resale value is about $1,800. Trying to sell it, so you can turn around and sell a PS5 for about $1,800, and it'll sell. Which
That's
is
wild.
it's skeezy, it's sleazy, but I mean, also like people are like, we need to make.
It's not like it has any games that's worth playing.
Right. I mean, right now it doesn't. I mean, that goes for both consoles.
$1,800 and buy a new computer, right?
You can buy new, well,
or lumber if you're building a house, because you can't even afford lumber nowadays.
You can't. Lumber is now lumber.
Resin too. Resin. So all those resin, all that stuff that puts in the plastic bottles, all that resin, plastic stuff. That's also
resin, wood, silicone. All of that is a shortage. Shipping has been a problem with customs and
that's interesting. I wonder if Microsoft could make that call to bump off folks for AMD. They probably have.
They probably have, which is why you're still able to get certain consoles and certain things. But AMD, I mean, unless Microsoft.
Yeah, so like I wonder about but from a supply chain perspective, would they beat a GM or a car company? They are capitalized with more money, but could they actually manufacture? No, I don't know. That's an interesting fight.
Right. So, in Rolls, you get it. I mean, it's all politics, right? You know, what company does what? If you bump one company, but Microsoft might have investments with other companies that they might bump in, right? So, like, you know, who knows when Microsoft has got investments with GM or Chrysler or Fiat or any of the big companies, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, you bump us. Who bumped you? Microsoft. Well, wait a minute. We were going to use them as our like back end for this. Well, now we're not going to use them. You know, that sort of thing. It's all politics, man, and it sucks. But that said, this shortage affects everybody. And then, of course, when we go back to NFTs and cryptocurrency, the cryptocurrency market, the way you create those is by using GPUs as the method of mine. So it's like it's all this giant circle snake eating its own tail, and we're kind of along for the ride. As gamers, as hobbyists, as tech enthusiasts, as everything.
As people who live in meat space.
Yeah, if you live in meat space and you're trying to like function, it's a bad time. I mean, I have never seen this amount of shortage with PC manufacturers. It's bad. Like I have walked into places like Micro Center recently, and if you wanted to buy a graphics card, they get shipments daily of like only a few, like 5 or 10. And there's usually a line camped out from like 3 a.m. onward around the block at Micro Center. When you're walking around and you're listening to people buy these machines, you can buy pretty much. You can build a whole computer, case, CPU, RAM, etc. But then when they're talking to the rep and they're like, "Oh, so I want a graphics card," and they're like, "The best we can do is like a 1030, which is like the base minimum, and even those are going for over $100." It's actually beneficial to try and buy a used one from like a marketplace, and even the used ones are being sold at a higher price.
Yeah, well, the supply has dwindled.
Yep,
everyone's desperate for new
It's interesting to see like a video card that you might have bought for $200. You can probably sell it for $100 more than you bought 2-3 years ago.
Now I'm eyeing the video card in my computer and wondering.
If you've got like a 970 or higher, which I think that's what you have, it's
probably worth more than what I paid for the computer.
It's probably worth more than what you paid for the computer, absolutely. And people are buying it because they just want a video card to be able to even use their computer. It's such a weird time. It's bonkers. It's sad. There is no light at the end of the tunnel at the moment. All the other YouTubers and tech enthusiasts and news places, they're like, things might not adjust until like mid next year, mid 2022.
Yep, and to build houses is going to be much more expensive, right? So, folks out there, I mean, that sounds a lot like inflation to me, even though folks aren't saying it is. So
right, so here we go. I mean, real estate right now, houses are, you're looking at houses being sold at $50,000 more than asking price. Like people are walking in, like, and they're offering on top. So you're trying to buy a house and you're going to a bidding war with someone who's got way more.
It's like New York City, baby. That's the life there.
Well, only this is like suburb
Wisconsin. Pen ready to sign, and someone comes in and says, "I'll take this one. $50,000 more than whatever they're paying."
Yeah, and so you're stuck. So what sucks is because we're going to do house hunting next year, and hopefully things kind of level, because if not, we're going to be stuck renting another year. Like it's just
buy now.
We can't.
Oh, you can't. That's fair.
We just physically can't. Like it's just not the time yet. But it's not on our projected timeline. Our projected timeline has now.
Yeah, the market's going to crash, Rolls. That's it can't keep going this way. Or maybe the market won't crash, but our lives will crash, right? The market might keep superheating forever as that casino keeps making money, but Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely gonna crash.
Yeah, no, it seems interesting to talk about that on the show, but I mean, we talk about it because we're a bunch of old men. And
It's
we're
the
seeing things
mid-geek crisis. We worry about this
we
stuff.
worry
for
about
sure.
this stuff, and as it all affects us, man. I never thought, the economic global pandemic of like shortages and like money and like cryptocurrency would affect the way I play my video games. But all of it just all affects it, like right? Like it's funny how that works. You've got companies and developers that haven't released games.
It's
and
the circle of life. Yeah, no, that's the world we live in. Yep. Stainless steel is even hard to get.
Yeah, stainless steel wood. I mean, 2x4s are like 4 or 5 times the price that they were per
Get
piece.
off my lawn. That's worth 3 times what I paid for it. Yep.
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
times.
I mean, there's people. I've got a buddy of mine who was like, "Yo, I'm gonna put my house on the market. It's there. My real estate agent says that he can get double the value. It's like I might just sell it and go rent somewhere for a while."
And what? Live in a van? Go to the hashtag van life?
This individual has enough money, but to deal with it. But like he lives in a nice house in North Houston. Big old saltwater pool, and it's Texas life, baby. You know how it works.
It's wild.
It's just it's more house than he needs. He doesn't have that. He's single. He doesn't have all. He doesn't have a. He's got like 3-4 bedrooms. I mean, if a family of 4 wants that house, and it's like one single dude living in it.
100% pure plywood.
Yeah,
from
I know what I have, baby. That's right. That's right. And all of this affects everything, man. Like even used video games. When we talk about it, like random crap, things like every old console has shot up in value by 100%.
Like if I wanted to get into retro gaming now, it's ridiculous.
No, right now is not the time to get in it. It is.
There will never be a time. I think the prices aren't ever going to go down for them. We're now at the point.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a bubble at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, things that were worth $20-$30. I mean, an N64, for example, $30. You used to be able to like walk in and pick one up for $30-$40.
Yeah.
Now it's about $110 average. For it, so it's gone up at least.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous. I have 3 DSs. Should I sell those? I should probably sell those.
Not yet, but the DS games have gone up in value. There's a whole video that I watched by Nintendo Life that put up that DS games have hit that like weird market where they.
Maybe I should sell those.
So like,
I got a couple.
Remember when you were looking for Pokemon?
Yeah.
I saw the value of that. That game is now worth 3 times what it was listed.
Really? Because I bought it, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
I got back in March. My collection was worth $3,000. Now it's $8,000. Well, that's fantastic, Chance. Way to go.
Yeah. I mean,
you'll never get rid of it because physical media is life.
Physical media is life, baby. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I mean, and honestly, it's one of those things where either you sell and you want the cash, or if you want to keep it because you won't be able to get it next time around, right? It's getting harder to kind of
just cash out, buy an old Boy Scout camp somewhere in the mountains of Montana, and just live in the cabins and hashtag live that life in the outdoors, man. We'd have to pay for the cable to come in, though, so we have internet, but let's retire. Yeah, I'm not selling that shit. You know what I like about our robot? That doesn't get flagged, but
That's so funny. Yeah. Cash out, buy a Mister. Thank you, Dan. That's right, buy a Mister, baby. Oh man,
that was good. That was a great video. I'd rather keep my collection. Good for everybody keeping their collection.
No. I mean, by all means, I've got a lot of games. I've got a lot of crap that I keep, and for sure. But it's the bubbles are weird. All the bubbles are weird, man. All these like the collecting, the game trading, the tech, all of it's weird. I haven't seen this kind of like inflation in a long time. And just like you said, I can't even believe like plywood has gone up in such a
plywood has gone up in price. Makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
No sense.
No sense at all. I think it is wait until garage sales this year. Yeah. No. I mean that's the way that. But on the flip side is you've got collectors and people that niche collectors, the ones that don't really give a crap about what they have. They're the garage sale buyers and the ones that just want to like flip. They're just flippers, and they now have caught wind of what video games are worth, and so now they're out at garage sales. I've seen it. I've been at garage sales recently, and you see like random dudes that have no idea. They just buy box. If they see a lot of video games, they'll just buy it. I've talked to one guy. I was like, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh man, that's a good pickup. You're gonna play." He's like, "Nah, man, I'm gonna sell it." I'm like,
Yeah. Everybody's making it up.
So,
don't forget the catch-up stories. Yep.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. Honestly,
catch-up shortage. I had no idea.
Yeah, storages in general, just people buy up all those storage units, and then they go in and like.
Oh, I got you. So they can make money off this.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there's a lot of wood and scrap in those particular storage
Yeah,
units as well.
people, we own a lot of crap, and it's all waiting there.
You just keep it on your desk. That's what you do.
That's
right?
what I do. This pile over here, this is just like.
I'm like,
silly.
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Look at all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's a mess back there. Everything else is clean, but that little corner right there got a little piled up on me. Anywho, thanks everyone. Like, subscribe,
Appreciate you
share.
coming on.
You know, the same old.
Let us know what you thought of Mortal Kombat on our Facebook.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we've got to put that out there.
Check out his YouTube video. It's getting some likes and views.
Yep, and there'll be more content like that coming up, tutorials and whatnot. I think that's been nice and popular as of late.
Yeah, I thought it was shortage, but I didn't get the context, but I'm sure it was great. As always, thanks Rolls for jumping on. Chance, Rio, Chance. Hopefully we didn't spoil Mortal Kombat. It's no Citizen Kane, however. You're going to know the plot day one, 15 minutes in, right? You're gonna know how to begin.
Plot?
Yeah, right, exactly. Dan, Rio, Rita, everyone else.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for jumping on.
Watch for the link for this. It's almost in clearance there. They're always there. I'm waiting for them to come back to me.
I have to buy one, so you have to buy one too. So.
But it'll happen. Again, I appreciate everyone. You guys make my Tuesday nights fun. I appreciate it so much. Again, friendship, everybody. It's fantastic.
Be kind, y'all. Be kind.
Take care. Episode 122 in the can. Take care. Have a good night, everyone.